Welcome back. That is, if you decided to click this video and watch me do my thing here.
We have to stop.
Lex.
Ready?
Let's do it.
July 11th. Summer is
Buckle up.
looking up.
You have a dog.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Lex, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, Heather. Superman, we finally made. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog.
The dog, loser! You took the dog!
That's right, Eve. Get all of this.
Where's the dog?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
He's just a dog.
I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog and cute.
What did you say?
I was sent here to serve humanity and to help the world to be a better place. That is why I do what I do. I cherish it more than anything.
The most powerful being on planet Earth somehow become the focal point of the entire world's conversation.
I will not accept that.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
I'll destroy you. And of course,
No matter what you do to me, Luther, your plan won't work.
I'm as human as anyone. And that's my greatest strength. What is this? What the hey, dude? You destroyed the whole...
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. James Gunn and DC released a whole bunch more Superman footage and trailers, so we'll break it all down. There's a bunch of new scenes here and a bunch of references to a couple of the major fights during the movie. So if you're brand new to the channel, we're doing a giveaway for tickets. All you have to do to enter is just be a subscriber and post your favorite moments from the new footage on the video. Looking at this, you do have to appreciate how punchable they made Lex Luthor's face. Like, he's just waiting for Superman to actually do something, but that's why he's Superman, because he doesn't punch Lex in the face. Their way around that issue during Superman and Lois on the TV show was to put Lex Luthor in the armor suit so Superman could punch him in the face. Maybe we'll see a live-action DCU version of that at some point. At the beginning here, the way they cut the footage, they make it seem like Superman is telling someone else, like Lois Lane or somebody else in general, because it's kind of ethereal voiceover, that they need to stop Lex. But based on a lot of other footage from the kaiju fight, and we do get a lot of that during this, like a lot of different angles from the kaiju fight, where he actually goes around just trying to save people on the street from all the falling buildings. This scene of Lois Lane in the street with Superman saying, "Are you ready?" and he says, "Let's do it," I think is after the actual kaiju fight is done and everybody's just slowly cleaning up, and he asks her for an interview, like, should we go have an interview to sort of decompress and talk about what just happened? And it's just a bit of a wink at their relationship behind the scenes, because nobody publicly knows that Lois Lane is with Superman, I think, at this time, but you do see them floating through the air kissing, so it seems like at some point everybody's going to catch them on camera like, oh, wow, they're actually going out. And even though you can't quite see because the footage is a little blurry in the background, just the way they're using the camera, but a lot of the store names are actually Easter eggs for people that are tied to the Superman mythos, or they had some part in one of the previous Superman movies, or they were a Superman artist or a comic book creator. So when you actually go to see the movie in like giant resolution in the theaters, be sure to look in the background. If you see the movie a couple times, probably need to watch the movie like 4 or 5 times to spot them all. You will notice a lot of Easter egg names on stuff in the background. James Gunn also brought a whole bunch of DC Superman comic book creators to the actual set. Some of you probably recognize these if you've been reading Superman comics for a long time. Their real serious-looking pose here is also meant to be a reference to the Justice League International cover, because that's kind of what they're doing with Guy Gardner, with Hawkgirl, with Mr. Terrific's version of the Justice Gang that they're calling them.
Root, what's it called again?
Justice Gang.
That's the working name.
Very well proved to be permanent.
There's also a separate Justice Gang promo they released where you actually see Guy Gardner's Green Lantern trying to sell everybody on the name, the Justice Gang. Like, it's growing on people. People are liking it. But Hawkgirl wants nothing to do with it. Like, no, don't call us that. All, I think, to sort of plant the seed in Superman's head that he does need a team to help him. And eventually, he will name that team the Justice League with Batman when he winds up meeting them, if he hasn't already. Speaking of which, James Gunn also revealed that Batman Brave and the Bold movie inside the DCU is meant to be the live-action debut of his version of Batman. So there's not going to be some sort of cameo scene from that Batman on screen where you've seen his face in some other person's movie before that. Interesting to note, we will see if he sticks to that plan or if he decides to change his mind in the next couple of years. When Lois says buckle up and she has the Daily Planet people and they're flying off the rooftop here in Mr. Terrific's T-Sphere ship, this actually is connected to a completely different scene that they released online where you actually see Perry White tell the Daily Planet newsroom, all the people that you see inside the T-Sphere ship, that they're going to take off, and you see Jimmy Olsen in the ship with a lot of his news reporting gear, like his laptop that he's typing on, and he tells them, Perry White tells them, to continue publishing the story while they're working on this little adventure here. So what I think is actually going on is that Lois Lane actually gets the T-Sphere ship because Mr. Terrific helps her into that pocket dimension, and they help Superman while he's trapped in there for some reason, like maybe they help him escape or something like that. Then Mr. Terrific stays behind with him to help deal with Lex and all of his troops in the armor suits. They're calling them the Raptors. Lois Lane probably takes his T-Sphere ship and goes back to the Daily Planet, like she escapes from that pocket dimension and gets away from all the battle.
Lois, you got that flying saucer deal up on the roof? Yep.
Perry White is like, there's a big news story that's happening. Everybody, let's go figure this out. So they wind up piloting the ship back to where the battle is going down so they can actually report the truth of what Lex Luthor is doing and what's happening with all of his different troops. That's probably one of the ways that they wind up taking him down at the end of the movie, because a big theme in the film is misinformation. Lex literally tries to use the internet to turn the world against Superman using misinformation. James Gunn said that the Daily Planet characters being reporters is actually critical to the plot of the movie. Like, it's very important that they are good reporters. So I think the reason why they become super important is that they report the actual truth of things by the end of the movie, so the world learns that Superman actually is a good person trying to help them, and Lex Luthor is the evil person doing all this terrible stuff. Then we get a brand new clip of him coming for Lex Luthor inside his office at Luthor Corp, pissed off. Like, you would not like Superman when he is angry. Make all the Hulk references that you want. Fun fact too, they actually reference Marvel and the Hulk on the Flash TV show in the DC TV universe, the Arrowverse, all the time. But it seems like this scene is happening at some point after the kaiju fight, because you see Superman's suit is just completely burned like it gets during the kaiju fight from his fire breath. So it seems like maybe at some point during this chaos, Lex is able to capture Krypto and does something with him. Maybe he sticks him in that pocket dimension briefly. Not totally sure which person Lex is actually talking to in this meeting here, just casually, when Superman breaks in. But I love the way that he just absolutely loses it. Like, he freaks out. Holy crap, Superman is here, and just backs away into the corner this whole time, slinking away, while Lex Luthor could care less. Like, he just seems like he's enjoying it that Superman is here, because Miss Tessmacher, who's his girlfriend during the events of this movie, she was implied to be his girlfriend during the Christopher Reeve Superman movies too. But at least in those movies, they made it seem like she was also his assistant. In the context of this movie, she's just meant to be his girlfriend. Like, she's not his assistant in the same way.
That's right, you get all of this.
Notice he tells her to capture everything that Superman is doing on her social media. I think it's all part of his plan to sort of turn the world against him. Like, they'll use the clip to make it seem like Superman is a dangerous person coming to kill Lex, and Lex is a good person that everybody should love. Basically using social media against him, Mysterio, Spider-Man No Way Home style. Notice behind Lex's desk, I actually thought this might be kryptonite, but in context of the actual scene here, it just looks like a giant LED wall with a bunch of flowing water, like there's this loop of water flowing behind him. I think it's actually meant to be a reference to Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor in the original Superman movie, who had like that whole pool that they swam in his underground subway lair. One of the big twists at the end of that movie is that Lex Luthor puts a bunch of kryptonite around his neck and pushes him into the pool, and Miss Tessmacher literally has to pull him out to save him. When he says Superman, we finally meet. That's why I think this is happening a little bit earlier in the movie, like during the kaiju fight, and that happens earlier in the film. And Superman is pissed off because he's figured out that Lex has stolen or captured Krypto. And he's basically just telling him, he's a little dog, like, why are you trying to hurt a little dog? Lex probably captured him and is trying to experiment on him to find more weaknesses that he can use against Superman. I love the way that Superman calls him a loser, too. Like, loser, the dog, where did you take the dog? Couple other Easter eggs here too that you probably noticed. His coffee mug says Space Lex on it, which I think is a SpaceX Elon Musk joke. There might be like a little bit of Elon Musk jokes baked into this version of Lex Luthor, but they mostly base this version of Lex on the Michael Rosenbaum version of Lex from Smallville. They even released a full house edit of the trailer a little while ago on their official social media. I'm hoping they'll release a Smallville cut of the actual trailer. There have been fans that have done it. It looks fantastic, like very classic Smallville energy, just because the movie already kind of feels like it has a Smallville vibe to it. There have actually been a couple people who have seen the movie already, at least in part, and they're calling it Superman 2, Christopher Reeve's Superman 2 on steroids, or like a really, really big budget version of the animated Justice League show, the animated Superman TV show. So if you really like animated Superman, or you really like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, you will be eating good. So you kind of get the vibe here, though, is that Lex is just baiting Superman to do something to hurt him. He wants him to hurt him so that he can use it against him. Like, that's all he needs so that he can show people, look what a dangerous person Superman is. You should fear him. Then there's a bunch more footage, especially from the other fights in the movie, where you can see Superman using some of his other powers, too. They start with more different angles of the footage from the kaiju fight, with him talking to Lois Lane and the other people about why his parents, Jor-El and Lara, sent him here. And they actually confirmed who's playing those characters. So they did confirm my theory that Bradley Cooper is playing the DCU James Gunn version of Jor-El.
We're not looking at you funny. You got anger issues. Mature yourself.
But it's another Guardians of the Galaxy actor, Angela Sarafian, who's playing Lara. So there are a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy actors showing up during the movie. They also revealed that some of the Kryptonian robots are played by some Easter egg characters too from Guardians of the Galaxy. So one of them is played by Pom Klementia, the girl robot that we actually heard during that previous clip. And one of the other robots is played by Michael Rooker, revealing who he was. Like, we knew he was going to be in the movie, but we didn't know who he would be playing. Now we know he, along with Alan Tudyk, are all playing the different Kryptonian robots.
Fuck.
When he tells Lois he was sent here to help humanity and make the world a better place, Jor-El sent him here because he would obviously be powerful under Earth's yellow sun. But they also get into this during the Henry Cavill Man of Steel movies too, where the Russell Crowe version of Jor-El also sent him to Earth to help inspire the people of Earth, and they in turn would inspire Kal-El, Superman, to also become a better person. So it's the same vibe during this movie too. Like, he didn't just send him to Earth to be a god. He uses a little bit of his freeze breath, like very, very low temperature, very light, to blow this regular dog out of the way of the kaiju's foot. Like, he saves the dog from being stomped on by the kaiju turned into jelly. In the background of this Daily Planet scene, where you actually see them watching the monitors when Superman's fights go down, you can actually see the grandsons of Siegel and Schuster, the original creators of Superman. They also filmed a lot of these Metropolis scenes in Cleveland, Ohio, which is meant to be the birthplace of Superman, or it's referred to as the birthplace of Superman, because that's where Siegel and Schuster were living when they actually created the Superman character in the comics. There are a lot of cameos from Superman-adjacent people, like Christopher Reeve's son plays a reporter during the movie. There's a little bit more fight from that Hammer of Baravia fight scene, which seems like it also happens at the very beginning of the movie. Like we said, we think that's just meant to be the Ultraman character, this evil clone of Superman that Lex has created in a different type of suit that's meant to be more of an Easter egg for the Nuclear Man from Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, who was also a clone of Superman created from Superman's DNA in a mixture of Lex's DNA during that movie. So there's a lot of Christopher Reeve Superman era of movies just baked into this, not just Superman 1 and Superman 2, but also Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. If you've not seen it in a while, I would recommend checking that out in the next couple weeks before this new Superman movie comes out, just for fun. My theory, based on all the other footage of Ultraman, like James Gunn released this high-res picture of him just looking like he's got a ton of city miles on him, like Superman battle damage on him after their fights. When his mask comes off, you see his hair super long, he looks very animalistic. It seems like they might turn him into a version of Bizarro in this universe. We will see what winds up happening to him by the end of the movie. So it just feels like a very convenient way for them to do a version of Bizarro in this universe with a cool origin story, cool twist on Lex Luthor versus Superman. There are a couple other Easter eggs for this in the background too. There's a character called Mr. Handsome that Lex Luthor creates. James Gunn said is like the ugliest person you've ever seen your entire life, but a lot of the production crew members, little kids who have actually seen him on set, are absolutely fascinated by him. So apparently little kids love Mr. Handsome, even though he looks just absolutely grotesque. But he's just another genetic experiment that Lex Luthor created in a petri dish, which I think is meant to be the way he sort of learned how to clone Superman eventually successfully. There's a little bit more fight of him against the engineer in the stadium where she actually has him dead to rights, but he uses laser vision and just unloads on her. It just seems like he almost blows her head off, but because of the way her nanites work, she's able to regenerate her head very quickly. But you notice how it wipes all the features off of her head, like that's how strong he is. For like a brief hot second, she has no base. Love the little scene where Superman is all exasperated and it seems like Krypto is just torn up the Fortress of Solitude. They actually said that that's meant to be an Easter egg for James Gunn's dog Uzo in real life, who, when he rescued him, like he was a rescue dog and inspired Krypto in the movie, he actually brought him home and destroyed all of James Gunn's stuff, like ate his laptop, destroyed everything around his house, all his furniture. So Krypto basically does a version of that to the Fortress of Solitude during this movie, where he just rips everything up like an unruly kind of dog would around someone's regular house. Love the way Superman also talks to him too, like a person. What the hey dude, what are you doing? Why are you breaking my stuff? My early guess is this scene comes right after the Kryptonian robots kill him using the sun, like that other early scene that we saw. One of the other big details that people have revealed who have seen early parts of the movie, like the very early footage, is that there is something of an opening crawl Star Wars style at the beginning of the movie that sort of sets the stage for the actual DCU universe in general. I don't know if that's an exaggeration or if there is an actual opening crawl at the beginning of the movie, but it just seems like there's a bit of a message at the beginning that'll give you an idea for what's happening in the DCU when the movie begins. This movie is literally meant to be the official beginning of the DCU, even though technically that happened in Creature Commandos. Like, this is the real live action, like the big thing that most people around the world are actually going to see. So a lot of the way the future of the DCU goes down with the movies that they do, the TV shows that they wind up doing eventually, depends on how well this movie does. But I think it will wind up doing fine, and they'll just do all the movies that they plan on doing. If they make changes in the future, it'll just be because the scripts for those future movies aren't strong enough, or there are other movies that they come up with that are better ideas than the ones they already have planned right now.
A little bit of a conflict, because you always have to be really aware of what is best for the studio as a whole.
Do not be surprised if their DC Phase 1 plan also continues to change and evolve in little ways in the next several years. And I don't know if it's because it's the summer and school's out of session, so people are just around more in general, or if it's because of Superman and everything that's happening this summer, like really big stuff happening right now. But I've been running into a lot of you guys in real life. It's actually really cool. So if you do spot me at the movie theater or somewhere in public, I'm always happy to take pictures or talk to people. It's always a lot of fun. There's a lot more footage of them talking about Justice League related stuff, Green Lantern stuff, so I'll do separate videos about that in the next week or two, but we're really close to the movie actually coming out, so I will start naming giveaway winners in my upcoming DC videos in the next couple of weeks, so just be on the lookout for that. Everybody click here for that brand new Fantastic Four trailer with a whole bunch of new footage, and click here for all my other new Superman videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
My name is Duman.
Almost. Maybe we have one action. One match left.
Let us finish our fight once and for all.
I know it's your life.
Fuck, let's get this over with. Black Panther opens with a neat animation explaining the history of Wakanda, the country that Black Panther protects.
Some young guy.
The continent of Africa, and said meteors made entirely from vibranium. This pushed the people of Wakanda into the future far faster than any nation across the globe. One tribe took over another four, and they essentially blocked themselves from the world as an isolated nation. Why the fuck would they stop at the arbitrary border of Wakanda back in the bloody Stone Age if they were advancing immeasurably faster than any other nation across the world? How didn't they just naturally spill over Africa as a continent and potentially the world by nature of the tools they had? Early humans expanded excessively, and Wakandans are already established as a people who are willing to dominate neighboring tribes. Are you telling me they stopped as they took fucking four? Seriously? And no one managed to get the word out about Wakanda's resources across its entire history except Gollum? Are you telling me that across the vast history of Wakanda, no one on Earth found them before they got their cloaking device up, while they simultaneously had nobody leave and share the location of Wakanda? How the fuck are they a secret to the surrounding areas? Or hell, how are they a secret to the Earth view of Wakanda that is sitting right next to them in extreme poverty? Do they actually care about the people starving at their doorstep? Do they at least bribe those guys to stay silent? Like, you probably think I'm crazy right now. Watch the opening again. Before they travel through the secret entrance to Wakanda, the ship that Black Panther and his crew are in flies right past regular Wakandans, and some fuck is waving to them. These people are not only aware that there is a secret advanced society, but the Challenges seem to give a shit about other people spotting them. How can this possibly stay a secret? Are you telling me that all these people just work for the secret Wakanda and that no secrets slip out? How do relief workers not find out about this if the third world Wakandans know about it? What? Oh, okay. We just need to let the Foundation go and enjoy the movie, right? Okay, let's enjoy the movie. We open up in the 1970s after characters that have a plan to share with the greater community surrounding the area with Wakanda technology because of the struggle that persists. The Black Panther, a young T'Chaka that we met in Civil War, confronts one of the two men about this plan, and it is said that he must return to Wakanda for judgment by some council or something. Then back in modern times, the movie T'Challa's Black Panther. He speaks with Michonne about the current plan. She's bold. Michonne then hands T'Challa his balls and wishes him good luck, and he launches out into a convoy of cars. As he is plummeting to the trees, he throws his balls at his enemies and it disables them. Soon after, he disappears into the darkness. The thugs are looking around and panicking about his disappearance until he stealthily knocks out two of them and waits, only to then assault them entirely, performing kicks, punches, and incredible acrobatic feats. Well, that's what I'm guessing happened, because despite being in the center of the cinema, I couldn't see a fucking thing aside from muzzle flashes and a blur popping